Hey everyone, it's me, Gretchen Rubin. I am co-host of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast, and I'm going to be joined in a minute by my sister, Lilith Kraft, my co-host on Happier. And while we're waiting for her to join, first tell us where you are, because we love to see where everybody is in the world. And also tell us, do you have a comfort object? Do you have something that just makes you feel safe and secure if you have it, even if you're a grown-up? Give us a thumbs up if so, or if somebody else in your family has one that you have to carefully track. Elizabeth has a comfort object, and there are some comfort objects in my house too. So let us know in the comments, and I'm going to bring Elizabeth in. We're also going to be talking about the challenge of sticking to exercise. Now, kind of the novelty's worn off with this situation. Like, are we sticking to our exercise? But now I'm going to see if I can find Elizabeth. Here she is. Oh, it's working so. And here she comes. Let us know where you are, everybody, while she's joining in. Hey, there you are.
Hey, Gretch.
How are you? So I was asking.
I'm good.
Oh, I was asking everybody about comfort objects.
Yes, I have a comfort object that I have had for many years, my whole life, as a matter of fact, which I will share with everybody right now, which is my blankie.
Yes.
I've talked about it on the podcast many times. I like to do that.
Yeah.
This is my blankie. It's actually my third blankie. So I had one when I was born, and then that wore out, and Grandma Kraft bought me a new one. Yeah. And then that wore out, and Mom actually sewed it to this. You can kind of see the little remnants of white. And we couldn't find the same kind in white, so this is pink Mom found for me. And sewed it together many, many years ago. And I still sleep with it every night if I'm home. I don't take it on vacation because it's too precious. Oh, someone says they have a blankie too. Yay, blankies.
Well, I have to show, I don't actually have a comfort object, but my dog Barnaby has one that he really will like carry around the apartment. He'll like see everybody hang out. He'd be like, hey, you're all hanging out. Let me just like go get my toy and I'll join you. And he's right here because he saw me bring it down, and he's like guarding it to make sure I don't do anything.
Oh, yeah. It's so cute.
We've tried to find a new one to replace it because it's very dangerous to only have one.
Yes.
Eliza has a comfort object. It's a cat, but she has two that are kind of the same. The other one is kind of a ginger cat. And she had them in college. Like, she brought them home with her when she came back from college a couple of weeks ago. And I to gauge her intensity, I said, well, if the apartment were on fire, would you have the urge to grab them? And she was like, yeah, probably. Yes, but here it looks like people, my turquoise baseball cap, that only started wearing it makes me feel safer. That's interesting. My daughter had a blankie until she was 14. Hey, did you take it on your honeymoon, Elizabeth?
Well, I didn't go on a honeymoon.
Oh, that's right.
But no, I wouldn't take it. I never take it on any trip.
You never take it out of the house?
No, never take it out of the house. One time, remember, I stopped taking it out when we went to Michigan one summer, and I thought I lost it, and I was just distraught. And then Mom found it, like, in the couch. But after that, I don't think I ever took it on another vacation. That was in high school. But I did have it at college.
If you're just joining, it's Gretchen Rubin and Lilith Kraft. We're the hosts of the Happier podcast, and we're just kicking it off by talking about comfort objects, because one of the things that research finds about lucky objects is that when we think something's lucky, like if I was like, these are my lucky earrings, we actually perform better. And if I said to you, like, here's a lucky golf ball, you would actually might golf better. And so when we invest things with these kind of qualities, they really do comfort us. So saying something like, oh, I'm comforted by having my comfort object, it actually can reassure you because you've said this is something that's going to reassure me. So even though it's kind of not rational, it still works.
Yeah, maybe now is a time for people who don't have comfort objects to decide that something is a comfort object, or to get something to be a comfort object. Someone said their blankie is named Gunky, so that's cute.
That's good. Well, this is interesting. Someone said, I threw out my comfort blanket this year. It felt liberating.
Oh,
well, I think that can, sometimes things feel too precious, or like over invested, and maybe you do feel free or getting away from them. So that's kind of an interesting flip on it.
Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, stuffed animals. I do think a lot of children have them, and it can be very
Jack
high
has a
stakes.
little blankie, but we have like 5 of the exact same ones.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to, knowing how important blankies were, I didn't want to risk losing them. But now he sleeps with like 5 of them at night. So it's funny.
Yeah.
Someone is asking me, Gretchen, how does a blankie work? They want to know. They're like, do you hug it? I'm honestly curious. I don't know how it works. Yes, I do. I hold it close to me at night, all night. You know, that's it. And Jack does the same. Adam does not have a blankie.
And what did he make of your blankie when you introduced
He never questioned it. I mean, I told him about it and he was like, I mean, he's never said anything about it. So I guess he's fine with it.
Kind of loves
But he knows that is my, like, I am the person who, yes, if I think if the house is on fire, how do I get my blankie out?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I think that now in these kind of stressful circumstances, people might be looking for things for the first time. Like somebody says, I've been wearing my signature color in jewelry as a comfort during these times. Or maybe
that's a great idea.
Wearing comfortable clothing. Like, of course, it's comfortable, but then there's also something very soothing about being in kind of like stretchy things that feel like kind of nightwear. And so I wonder, are people finding somebody, I need a comfort object, someone says, are people finding that they are like, or maybe you have like your favorite pillow and you're really making sure that you get your favorite pillow. Because I think that this is something.
Someone, Gretchen, has an armchair ottoman that is their comfort cocoon, which I think is a great idea.
Right, right. Oh, and someone says, growing up, me and my cousins had our comfort blankets. It was a dark, dark day when the dog tore up my cousin's blanket and scattered across the yard. We were all traumatized. Yeah, I mean, that is the thing that's like kind of dangerous about any kind of object that you invest with a superstitious value, or even something like your wedding ring and your engagement ring. The risk of losing it or breaking it or ruining it go up because somebody says yes to comfy clothes. Yeah, I have a weighted blanket and it's so comforting. You know, I've never tried a weighted blanket, but I'm so intrigued by that.
People swear by it.
Yes. How many? I mean,
because I'm an underbuy. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, give us a thumbs up if you like weighted blankets. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just saying, this is where being an underbuyer versus an overbuyer comes in, because so many people have told me, get a weighted blanket. It will change your life. You will love it. People who aren't into that kind of thing love them. But as an underbuyer, I just cannot make myself buy a weighted blanket.
Yeah, yeah. But we're getting a lot of thumbs up. So maybe
people like their weighted blankets.
Like Christmas opportunity for me.
There you go.
For you. Like we'll do a gift exchange. Someone said, I made my own blanket for comfort. Well, that I think something that you made yourself is probably especially invested. Now, listen, while I was waiting for you to join, I threw out the question to everybody about whether people were finding it hard to stick to their exercise, because first of all, there's sort of the first wave of challenge, which was everybody's usual routines were disrupted and you kind of had to find a new way. But sometimes, like at the beginning, you sort of have that energy of like, oh, I'm sure I got this cool new video, or like me and my kids are doing yoga together, and it kind of feels new and fun and different. But now it's been going on for a while, so that can be a challenge. So I'm wondering if people, like, give us a thumbs up if you're finding it challenging to stick to your exercise. But Elizabeth, you did something very clever to fight this inertia.
Yeah, so today, and this is why I've got my hair in the ponytail and I've got on my workout clothes, Gretch. For the first time, I did a virtual workout with my trainer, Anne, who I do my, heavy strength training with that you and I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the same because that's machines and it's like you lift the maximum weight you can lift. But I mean, I was shaking. I am still shaking. I am completely drained. I was felt like I was going to throw up. I mean, it was the whole full workout, you know? And then I realized, oh my gosh, why haven't I been doing this the whole time?
Yeah.
She said a lot of people have this feeling like, oh, it's going to be a few weeks and then I'll be back to it. And she said every week more and more people are doing it because they realize like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
You know, this could be a long time. So anyway, I did that, and it definitely, and I told her like I need it on the calendar same time every week, because she's like, we're way more fluid with our schedules. I'm like, no, mine needs to be same time every week. And I was saying, I then emailed right away saying to mom and dad, they need to do the virtual workout, because you've been telling us this as usual. Happiness bully Gretchen's been telling the whole family to do this and nobody's done it. And you're right.
But it's interesting though, I did exactly the same thing you did. Like the whole calendar is open, but I picked my very same slot because I'm like, psychologically, that's when I'm like ready to do it. And then I actually added another one because I just feel like I need more. I think a lot of people are saying in the comments that they're exercising more because they feel like they have this restlessness and they need it. And I think that's so great because
someone says working out is the highlight of her day.
Yes,
I believe that.
Yeah. Because it helps with sleep and it helps it keeps you regulated. It gets that nervous energy off. So I doubled up, but I did feel like, well, I have to keep my same, because like that just sort of shapes my time. And I liked having that anchor. And I was like, if I have to put it in some other completely unfamiliar day part, it's like, it's like, why tax myself? I want to keep my same slot.
I'm curious who has started like a new thing they've never done before. Like who's never done Zumba, but now is doing Zumba workouts.
Yes.
Or has never done yoga, but now is doing yoga online. Or
here's someone who's saying, I do the pairing method, watching YouTube tutorials and running on the treadmill. Are people trying pairing for the first time? That seems to be a really stable way to form the exercise habit. If you can get the pairing going right now, that can be a really good thing. So, wow, I work out 2 hours a day, same schedule. Wow.
Gretchen, people want advice. They're saying, give us tips to deal with exercise inertia. What like concrete tips can we give people?
Well, the one thing is, I would say if you're not joining us in Walk 20 and 20, you should join us now. And it doesn't matter. Tomorrow, Eliza, should we give a little preview? Yeah. Tomorrow is 100 days. Ta-da! Yeah. If you've been doing 20 and 20, tomorrow is 100 days, which means you probably walked 100 miles. That is amazing when we think of how many miles people will have walked. And there was just an article in the New York Times like yesterday saying that research shows like they keep downward adjusting how much you have to do to get a benefit. Because even ambling around your house doing 4,000 steps is a big boost. So if you can do just a little bit of exercise, it helps with mortality, it helps with mood, it helps with immune function, which we all need. So if you join it, and I'll put a link, if you go to my website, there's a lot of stuff there about the hashtag Walk 20 and 20, and you can get a sheet where you can do a don't break the chain in gretchenrubin.com/resources. You can get that because a lot of people like the don't break the chain, especially for something like walking 20 minutes, which is set up to be realistic. Like you can walk 20 minutes in a day and you will get, and research shows that you will get a significant boost from that. So that's one thing. Another thing is to think about your tendency. So again, if you don't know your tendency, go to quiz.gretchenrubin.com. But so like Elizabeth, you working out with a trainer is great for an obliger because yes, because I need that accountability. Like I have known 10:30 on Wednesday, I have to work out with Anne. And even though, believe me, a million times I was like thinking, I really don't want to do this. Maybe I should just cancel. But I couldn't think of a good reason. I'm like, what reason am I going to have? And then I thought, even if I could say I have like a Zoom meeting, she knows that I'm going to have all these other hours when I could reschedule. I'm like, there's no point in canceling this. Yeah. And as an obliger, that's so helpful. And now that we have it on the calendar, and also I know she now is sort of counting on it for what, how she's arranging her life and her income. So it's, I feel like, okay, I have to do it. Yeah. And that's super helpful for me. Well, and I think for a lot of people who are trying to get their kids to exercise, a great thing to do is to think, well, I need to be a good role model for my children. And when they're exercising, I'm going to exercise, and that's going to keep them exercising. Or like maybe you have a sweetheart or a spouse and you're sort of like, well, let's do this together. Or I know of obligers where they'll say, like, if they have a spouse who really loves to exercise, because we all agree that that's a really good thing, they make a deal with their spouse. If I don't exercise, you can't exercise. So then they feel like they have to exercise because they don't want to deprive someone else of the health benefits of exercising. So there's a lot of, now questioners, it's all about the research. And let me tell you, there's a bazillion research studies. It's like the magical elixir of life is exercise. There is not one aspect of life where you are not in better shape if you are exercising. Exercise a little bit, exercise a lot. A little is good. You know, you don't have to be training for the marathon. So there's enormous amounts of research. And also questioners tend to like to customize. So if there's like a regimen that interests you, go ahead and like tweak it to suit yourself. And also questioners tend to love monitoring. So maybe you want to use like a step counter, or, you know, don't break the chain, or like time yourself.
And people have a lot of good suggestions. Like someone is having a contest in their family that's keeping them motivated.
Yeah, some people are really motivated by competition and others are not. That's a really good distinction to know about yourself. Yes. Oh, someone says unbroken running chain, day 80. So glad I started before the plague. Yeah, that's great. If you're just joining, we're talking about the 4 tendencies now. And again, you can take the quiz at quiz.gretchenrubin.com. I just checked now, 2.8 million people have taken the quiz, which is amazing. And I should say, just to round it, upholders, they can do this if they want. This is the kind of thing upholders are good at. But rebels, remember rebels, it's about spontaneity, it's about choice, it's about freedom, it's about your identity. Tap into your identity as a healthy person, as an athlete, as somebody who doesn't want to be trapped and confined, as somebody who wants to be free. And maybe you're going to mix it up. Today you do this YouTube video. Today you do treadmill. This time you're going to do, you know, jump rope. Mix it up. Do what you feel like when you feel like it. This is something that is often particularly challenging for obligers and rebels. So if you're an obliger, if you are a rebel and you've hit on a strategy or like a mindset that really works for you, do put it in the comments, because I think this is a place where we can really learn from each other. I've often seen people of a particular tendency, like their eyes light up when they hear, like one rebel said that the way that they were observing social distancing and all the rules as a rebel was they were thinking, I'm not going to allow this virus to use me. It wants to take me over and use me to propagate itself, but I refuse to be used as a chain of, in the chain of infection. And I thought, oh, that's like a rebel way of thinking. Brilliant. So let's see what people are saying, because I think there's a lot that can be learned.
One thing, someone said they take a short walk after lunch and after dinner, and the steps add up, and that's good. That sort of routine and pairing. And so someone else says they're entering their steps into their bullet journal.
There you go. Well, I think if you like a to-do list, something like this makes you feel good because you see it adding up. I think that's part of the reason people don't like the don't break the chain, because you see that chain. Someone says, I'm an upholder living with 3 rebels. Wow. She's like emoji. I'm like, okay, I want to hear a lot about that. So the sitcom writes itself, I think. It says recent studies indicate that more than an hour of exercise starts to make the benefits decrease, so don't overdo it. That is not a problem that I've ever faced in my life, but good to know. Somebody was mentioning the Gilmore Girls. Okay, I know that I need to watch the Gilmore Girls and do a tendencies like recap, because people are always mentioning them to me, and I never watched the Gilmore Girls. Give me a thumbs up if I should watch it, because clearly I think I should.
People love it.
Yeah, I got it. Once I get Mad Men underway, maybe. Oh, someone says it's hard to work out when my family doesn't work out. Well, I think, yeah. So then you have to find ways when you're doing it on your own. And again, for an obliger, you have to figure out that out. You could use my Better app if you want to have an accountability group. Usually, remember, sweethearts and spouses don't make good accountability partners. So if you go to the Better app, and that's just betterapp.us on desktop, or just search for Better Gretchen Rubin in the App Store, you can have accountability with just other people who need accountability. If your own kind of immediate circle isn't going to give that to you.
Well, there's a lot of thumbs up for the Gilmore Girls, Gretch. Clearly, I haven't watched either. I think it was just on at a time in my life where I sort of wasn't in TV mode, like college or something. We should both watch that, apparently.
Yeah, I think there's like 8 seasons, though. I think it would be a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Those were the days when there were like lots of episodes. I know. How many people's dogs are getting more exercise? Yes.
I think sure.
I think Barnaby likes all the attention. He keeps like being like, "This is great. I didn't know you guys were here." You know.
Well, everyone's saying the dogs are, when this is hopefully passes, the dogs are going to be like, "What happened? This was like my nirvana this time."
Yeah. It's a lot of.
But I do think, Gretchen, it's like, just forcing yourself. If you're really having trouble, which I can absolutely relate to as someone who has felt that inertia, I forced myself to pair something I really, really wanted to watch with the treadmill. In this case, that is Love is Blind. I forget if I've mentioned it. Everyone's talking about it. I didn't watch it for the longest time. I was sort of holding off, just maybe instinctively I knew I would need this. And so now I can only watch it on the treadmill, and it has done its job of getting me to do like 10,000 steps, like 7 days in a row, because I want to watch. Now, when it ends, then I need another equally compelling show.
Well, one of the things I'm doing is I call it a walk and talk. And it's a little bit of a, it's something you have to schedule. But in New York City, where I live, we are still permitted to walk outside as long as we observe social distancing and wear a mask. But you can go outside to the park, and where I am, people are very widespread. We don't see any clumping or clustering, but it's just like, just walking randomly. So I will make an appointment with a friend. Like I'll talk to, like today at 11:30, I had an appointment with a friend. And so I just like started walking. And then at that time I called her, and like you said, I just didn't even notice the fact that I was walking. Yeah. I walked, I came back. I had done, how many steps did I do? I did like 11,000 steps almost, and most of that was talking to her. And I also connected with a friend, which is like a completely other value. So I think that's one way to do it is, is pairing. It's pairing it with a friend, pairing it with like a movie or a TV show. So I think that's great.
And maybe this is a way, Gretch, because I think a lot of people are like someone said they have started doing yoga, and maybe you've wanted to do yoga. Well, maybe this is a way to start with the notion that you'll actually keep doing it after this is over. Because one question that's come up a lot is, what's something about this time that you'll continue forward?
Well, and I think one of the things that people are grappling with is I always told myself that I wasn't doing this because I didn't have time.
Right.
And now I'm still not doing it. So, now clearly these are good problems to have. And we should just take a moment and say, of course, for some people, this is like the last thing they're worried about. We're very fortunate to be worried about this kind of thing.
Yes.
Because there's all the healthcare workers and essential workers who are on the front lines, the teachers who are like trying to teach, virtually all this thing. But I think we all do want to emerge from this, healthy and strong, and we want to have the energy that we need to get through this time. And so worrying about something like, well, can I figure out a way to stick to my exercise routine, is useful. So if you're just joining, it's Gretchen Rubin and Lilith Kraft. We're the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. And we're talking about if inertia is setting in with exercise, how do you push through and keep going? And so, listen, you were like, just force yourself, and then you kind of remember how glad you are that you did it too. So that's perfect.
Yes, and you schedule it. Like, this is why I was saying earlier, my hair is all messed up right now. I've been trying to have nice hair for these, but because I finally did my virtual workout, and wow, it really showed me that I haven't been doing it.
Right.
You feel like, oh, I'm still strong. It goes so fast. That's the thing. You don't want to have to get back to where you were.
Yeah.
Think of your future self.
Think of your future self. Yeah. And think about it's no fun to go backwards. Somebody said something funny, which is my husband often asks me, how often have you regretted exercising? And the answer is basically never. I think the only time people regret exercising are the people who are like the the super dedicated exercisers who are like, I can't give up my daily run, so I'm going to run on my bad foot. And then those people, but
Yes.
that's a different problem to have. Somebody said, I get my best cleaning done while talking on the phone. Yeah, I think pairing with a conversation is a great pairing, because you're just having so much fun talking to somebody.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of people like fold laundry. That seems to be a thing a lot of people do, because it's very, your hands are busy, but your mind is completely free.
Gretch, I walked 3 miles on my treadmill talking to you the other day. Remember?
There you go.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing: is you kind of have to say like, "Ooh, I'm getting on the phone. Let me go get on the treadmill," because sometimes just like that little effort of getting up, it just, you miss the chance. I think part of it is looking for the opportunity. Somebody says, I'm vacuuming right now listening to you. Oh, that's there you go.
And yes, everyone listen to your favorite podcasts, please, because we want the podcast industry to thrive.
Yes. I'm going to mention this on social media, but I'll just mention it here too. I just listened to a very funny episode of 99% Invisible, which is one of my favorite podcasts, where he's talking about the great toilet paper run. And it's like more about, I was actually quite interested to learn more about toilet paper than I read, a little history of toilet paper. It turns out that flushable wipes is not, that's a marketing ploy, and it's absolutely not true. And they had like a I don't know what you call it, sewage expert saying, please do not flush wipes.
Really?
Yeah. That's
wow. Well, I don't have a baby anymore, but that's very good to know.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're looking for a fun podcast episode, it's what I think it's called Wipeout.
That's funny.
It's a very recent episode. But hey, we are getting ready for episode 270, which, because it's one of the 10s, it's a very special episode, and we are doing a very special episode with advice for graduates. So what is the best advice you ever got? What's the worst advice you ever got? What's the advice you would give to your former self? Let us know your advice. The email is podcast@gretchenrubin.com if you want to type it and send it to me. We also, we were planning this weeks ago. And so we have had some responses that are specifically about graduating, or really, and not having a graduation ceremony in this COVID-19 circumstances. So if you have suggestions about how to deal with kind of that situation, or practical ideas about how to handle that, that would be great too, because we will be talking about the general advice. But if there are certain things that might be particular for this graduation year, we would love to know that too. So again, it's podcast@gretchenrubin.com, or you can put it here. But sometimes if you want to type out something more, I like to use all 10 fingers myself, but some people are better with their thumbs than I am. Should we do our accountability check-in?
Yes.
Okay. Accountability.
There we go. Yeah.
Eyes on you. Okay. Put in the comments, what do you want to be held accountable for? We're holding you accountable, and give yourself a gold star if you've been doing whatever it is that you want to be held accountable for. We want to see a row of gold stars and thumbs up.
Yes.
Because this is the time, but maybe it is exercise related. Sewing masks. Somebody's been sewing masks.
Great.
Wonderful. Eating breakfast every day. That's good. Oh, gold stars. Somebody gives 3 gold stars. That's good. Gold stars and what you call
party hat.
Yes.
Yes.
How many people have been resisting snack bursts?
Yes, that is my tribe, is the resisting snack burst crowd.
Yes.
Gretch, I am getting better. Not just with the stopping at the thing right before bed, but I've gotten better, I think throughout the day.
Really?
Yeah. So I feel that I am making progress on the snacking, and it's very helpful to have this accountability daily. But I really think I've improved.
That's
so great. I'm happy.
That's great, because this has been something that you've sort of been it's kind of been running in the background for a while. I know.
Yes. Although, I mean, it was really for the first like 2 weeks of this, it was just like completely bananas because I was just totally in like apocalypse loophole mode.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really am, as I wrote in the letter to my future self, really closing the apocalypse loophole.
Right. And realizing like this counts.
Yes.
Everything counts.
So I feel here's what I will tell everyone who's also struggling with the snacking and the snack versus I really do feel better because I was just had such a nagging, awful feeling about it 24 hours a day that now I'm feeling much lighter, as is always the case, and not doing as much of it. So everyone, how are my other folks doing here? I see a lot of
saying good
gold stars.
Yes. And speaking of challenges and accountability related to food, how about eating leftovers? How's everybody doing with eating leftovers? We have been eating leftovers. I did not eat leftovers for lunch, but I saw that I think we're going to have leftovers for dinner. Jamie made an excellent miso chicken, and we have leftovers from that. And I think a lot of people are really feeling like it's now more than ever, it's really important to not be wasteful and to really use our food and to sort of plan ahead and think about, when is this going to get eaten? Because there's nothing worse than discovering a plate full of food you would have loved to have eaten, but you kind of forgot about it in the back.
Yes.
Somebody says thumbs up. I had leftovers today. That's great.
We got a meal that we ate like leftovers for like several meals. We got delivered like a taco buffet that had chicken and had this delicious chicken, a big thing of chicken. So we were all eating that for a good 2 days. So that was great because we were supporting a local, food place and also having a lot of yummy leftovers.
Yeah. And how many people here are going to be doing some kind of virtual Passover? We're having a family, it's been on the calendar that we were going to have go over to my in-laws for dinner tonight with my brother-in-law and his family. And of course, my in-laws live right around the corner from us. So that's super convenient usually. But now it doesn't matter because they could be living in Australia and we would still be connecting with them. Now we have not had a family, extended Rubin family thing like this. So I think there might be a little bit of technical issues, but I'm excited to do it. And of course we all want it together.
So many people are doing virtual Passovers.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. So, and I think it's really reassuring to realize that we can be resilient and that we can find a way to, hang on to these rituals and to observe these important occasions, together. It's super important to my husband's family that we do these things. And so, and I think it's just like, if we can't do it in person, we're going to find another way to do it. And it's really lucky that there's a technology. I hope that everybody manages to do it first try, but we'll see. There's always
could be some coaching from the sidelines.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Can't wait to hear how it goes. Zoom Seder. Oh, I like that phrase, Zoom Seder. That's
Zoom Seder.
Yeah, it makes me so happy to know I'll see my extended family and friends tonight. That's really lovely. Virtual Good Friday Communion. Yes. This is a big Easter is Sunday.
I was saying it's a nice. The Easter Bunny could still come to our house, which is nice.
Yes.
That's something that can still happen.
Yes. The Easter Bunny's coming to our house too. Yes. The technical issues can be the funniest part. That is a great point. And it reminds me of one of the things that our mother said. Listen, I always forget, like when I'm talking to you, it's our mother. Our mother said one of the wisest things that anybody ever said to me, which is the things that go wrong often make the best memories. And I bet we will remember, tonight, celebrating Passover tonight, so much better than others where it was like beautiful and lovely and everything went perfectly, because this is the one where like somebody like keeps changing their Zoom background, you know, or whatever.
Yes.
We can't get
Yes.
off mute, or, you know, whatever.
Someone is suggesting you could do a practice run with anyone who might be technically challenged.
Yeah, that's not the family I married
No,
into.
they'll just
Yeah,
wing it.
yeah,
They'll wing it.
yeah, we'll be lucky if everybody's like logged in. Yeah, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea. We are having a family art competition for Easter. No digital mediums allowed. We will see how well we all go. Yes.
Fun.
Oh, my husband says the same thing. It's where we create the most special memories. That's very true. Yeah. The Easter Bunny was declared an essential worker here. Yes. Yeah, somebody says if things go wrong with the technology, then it's funny. Yes, I think that's right. It's to keep a sense of good humor. Don't be frustrated. I mean, that's the thing. It's a chance for us all to get together. So it's like, and we're not in any rush. It's not like anybody's got to be anywhere.
Right,
So
right.
we got plenty of time.
Yes.
So our challenge for tomorrow, I think we should say, if you've fallen off the exercise treadmill, try to get yourself back on. You know, walking 20 minutes is fantastic. Join us for walk 20 and 20. Find one video, try one class that's always interested you, do something with your kids. One thing you can do is you can dig out the toys that encourage movement, like frisbees, or, you know, hula hoops, or jump ropes, or something like that. Maybe sometimes it's fun to connect with the kind of things that you liked when you were young.
Well, I like this challenge because I've already completed it, Greg. Did my virtual workout for the first time. So I'm like, check that off the list. I got to write it on my to-do list and then cross it off.
I never write a to-do list that does not include one item that I've already done. I feel like you got to start at the top of the hill and start, before you start pedaling.
Someone says challenge accepted. I need it. So that's good. Yeah.
Good. Yes. And if you want the sheet, even if you haven't started yet, you can start and join with us for the rest of the year. If you go to gretchenrubin.com/resources, there's one sheet there where you can cross it off so you don't break the chain. There's also, if you're a questioner and you want more information about Walk 20 and 20, go to my site. There's a lot of information there, and there's a lot of links to other resources that will give you all the data and research that shows why this is such an effective thing to do for health. And obligers, like, eyes on you. We're going to be checking in tomorrow.
We're watching.
We're watching. Okay. See you tomorrow. Let's keep
Bye.
hands clean and our minds clear. Bye.